Political uncertainty, internal dissension, and land expansion characterized post-classical China. Perhaps the central issue was a conflict between this land expansion and growth, while simultaneously maintaining traditional Confucianism, typified by family and community responsibilities. The first real challenge to Confucian values in the post-classical age came during the Sui dynasty's plan for the Grand Canal. The Sui dynasty ruled from 581 to 618 CE. The Sui's first two emperors, Wendi and Yangdi, wanted to expand China's interests through warfare and public infrastructure policy. Though they failed militarily, despite having a massive army, the Sui took comfort with their success in uniting northern and southern China with the Grand Canal. The Grand Canal was an 1,100-mile-long man-made waterway constructed with the purpose of transportation and trade. However, this too helped spread Buddhism from the various parts of China, disrupting the Confucian pastoralism which had taken root before. Buddhism in the Sui period had caused those who were conscripted and disillusioned to find solace in spirituality. The Tang dynasty would follow the Sui and carry on its infrastructure reform and civil service exams, and also inherited the internal turmoil which was brewing. The Tang dynasty saw the dissemination of power by Buddhist and Taoist revolutionaries. Beginning with Li Yuan's overthrow by his own son Li Shimin, the dynasty never saw much peace. Xuanzang, being overthrown by his own advisor, An Lushan, ultimately gave way to local landlords seizing power and initiating feudalism. For the next 50 years, China lacked central organization, leaving itself vulnerable to northern steppe invaders. The Song dynasty eventually saw itself conquered by the steppe invaders, known as Jurchens. Jurchens came from northeast China and the steppe regions and established the Jin dynasty, which helped to usher back in Confucian ideas in civil service exams. Still, the conflict persisted, the conflict between expansion and tradition. Post-classical China was of course not afraid of expansion. The Sui tried in Korea, however Korea did in fact adopt civil service exams. Though not through conquest, the Fujiwara clan in Japan modeled its government from the centralized authority it saw in China. The Ming dynasty, however, attempted to expand China's influence greatly in the 14th and 15th century. Emperor Yongle sent a large army and ships out, but was thwarted by Confucian leaders who foresaw an imminent staining of national culture. In the most evident display of pushback against progression, the traditionalism which regained control under the Jin and Ming displayed its intentions, which was no expansion. The real answer to this conflict can be found partly in Neo-Confucianism. Because the real obstacle that needed to be overcome to pursue expansion and growth was not Buddhism, but was in fact Confucianism, it needed to be modified. Neo-Confucianism can be described as traditional Confucian belief, family and state obligation, with an emphasis on a real-world significance. Neo-Confucianism gave importance to the here and now of Chinese life, stressing harmony between society and oneself. By creating a society which thrived through trade and land expansion, while maintaining a central figure to enforce the importance of filial piety by issuing civil service examinations, China in the post-classical period could have eased internal tensions. By taking a lesson from Japan in the modern period, opening trade markets can only help a nation. After being isolated for centuries, Japan became a large imperial power with political and religious hegemony, deferring power ultimately in a single leader. China, however, fell prey to turmoil by repeatedly going to war with one another and failing to find a real compromise. Compromise could have relieved China in the long run. By making concessions and ridding themselves of their stalwart stubbornness, China would have flourished due to the opportunities through trade, which in turn fortifies armies with weapons and supplies, and the compromise in national philosophy would have proved to alleviate the otherwise devastating civil conflicts which came to epitomize post-classical China.